I had an Italian colleague several years ago. If he sees this now with me, you know what he would say? He would say, "Hey Boschi, in my country, I steal the motorcycle for money. But this one is so beautiful, I steal it for free." Every once in a way comes a motorcycle that sets the heart beating and racing. It's like the movies, the Titanic, Three Idiots, Avatar. There's one motorcycle with me today that sets at least my heart racing. The Moto Guzzi V85TT. This is Italian art. This is Italian art, like the Mona Lisa. No one can put a price on a painting. A painting is worth what it is worth to the buyer, and a painting is worth what it is worth to the seller. This is sort of like a painting. We don't really need to talk about the price because that will not make sense. This is pure heart, no head. This is one of the most beautiful motorcycles in my opinion. The Moto Guzzi, a brand founded in 1921, has got a unique character and charm to it. It has gone through several ownerships. Right now it's owned by the Piaggio brand and they have done a damn fine job. Just look at it. This is art in motion with its unique V-twin, shaft drive and little quirks and designs. I'm just in love with this motorcycle. Today the motorcycles, the adventure motorcycles, the touring motorcycles are all edgy, sharp lines and technology, designs that are all from Transformers movie. This is a massive refreshing change in between those KTMs and the BMWs. This has been penned with a paintbrush. Let's start with the looks from the front. Look at this organic, it's an organic looking, yeah, some may call it a duck, looks like a duck. That's okay, it's still organic, it still looks like a living, breathing person. The 100-year badge, 1921 to 2021. A little garnish here. Look at this little intake. And this is the Mandello Eagle. Twin LED headlamps, upside down Kayaba or KYB forks, twin Brembo calipers, the unique V-twin engine, transversely mounted, 90-degree V-twin. The windshield, it's adjustable, although I rode it about 250 kilometers yesterday. Beyond 70 kilometers per hour, it's pretty useless. However, it is still adjustable. It's got this nice looking frame. This holds the headlight. It's made of metal, but it's beautifully sculpted. The welding, the finish. There are little design things in this. Like I showed you, a little mesh intake. I'm not sure that intakes anything, but just let some air in. You see this little detail here. This is a 22-liter tank. This is not the tank, it's a shroud. It's got a little design here. And if you take a look at the mudguard, it's got some slots here. This is probably to let some more air in. You got the same slots that match here. Footrest mountings, the rear foot peg mounting, very robust looking. This is an aftermarket exhaust. It's a single side, 2-in-1 Zard. Swing arm, the shaft drive is on the other side. Look at this frame. Matching with the front end headlight mounting frame, it's metal pipe, sculpted beautifully, serves the purpose, can carry a 40-liter luggage system on it without vibrating and shaking the hell out of its contents. And look at the tail lamp. Jet exhaust style tail lamps, pretty cool looking. a single-sided shock absorber on the rear, and this is the shaft drive. It's so compact, so small, it's difficult to even notice it. Unlike on some of the bigger bikes, these things stick out. Trust the Italians to come out with a design like this. Super comfortable seat, 200 kilometers, no hurting. Backside didn't hurt. Look at this little, there's a logo here. Only the Italians can do things like this. Moto Guzzi. Guzzi. We don't say pizza, we say pizza. So it's not Guzzi, it's Guzzi. Look at the switches. Take a look at this. Little silver bezels around them. It's got cruise control. So little bezels. These bezels remind me of a high-end car, maybe an Audi or something. On the dash, we'll have the controls and bezels around them. The master cylinder is not generic. It's got a shape to it, although it says Aprilia on it, because the Piaggio group owns this brand and the Aprilia brand. The TFT dash, small, adequate. Let me turn it on. It's got all the information we need, all kinds of readings and trip and distance to empty, blah, 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 blah. This motorcycle is not about features, it's not about the gadgets, it's not about the technology, it's pure design and how it makes the rider feel. Look at this handlebar. We've all heard the term brushed finish, brushed steel, brushed aluminium. If we have to define brushed steel, brushed aluminium, this is the definition. Look at the way it's brushed. The attention to detail is fantastic. Amazing. This 90-degree V-twin is a 853cc, putting out 80 bhp and 80 Newton meter of torque. Most of that comes at below 5000 rpm and extremely rideable. There is no need to rev the hell out of this engine. It generates torque right from 3000 rpm onwards. I pushed it to around 6.5. I did not go beyond that. I didn't need to. It didn't ask me to. It just tells me easy, enjoy, chill, tour, ride. Never got the urge to push, to hustle, to weave in and out of traffic. It's something about this motorcycle that calms the rider down. The perception, the view, the style of riding changes. Mind you, if the rider tries to hustle this, not recommended, not recommended. It weighs around 208 kilos, empty, fully fueled 230, which is not bad. It did not feel heavy, it was okay, but once fully fueled, yes, I could feel a bit of the fuel on top. So it's for its size, it feels a bit heavy when it is fully fueled. As the fuel burns off, we get a half a tank, below a half tank, it feels a lot better. This engine, like I said, is what distinguishes and something unique about the brand. It's got aluminium push rod. It's a push rod engine. That's why the low revs and the power developing at a lower RPM. Titanium valves, air cooled. The weather right now, it's okay, it does not too hot. I did not feel much heat. However, the user did say it kicks out a lot of heat onto the legs, something like the Harley. It's an air cooled, consequence of being an air cooled engine. Can't help it, got to live with it. So generally at a signal or a traffic light, I was told to turn it off and switch it on and get it moving. Being a transverse engine, the crankshaft is mounted longitudinally, and that creates a very weird phenomenon in this. Let me start it and show you. Did you see that? Watch. At low speed, at a signal light or traffic light, we blip the throttle, the bike rocks. That's because of the crank that is placed this way. I am told it used to be much more, that rocking thing in the earlier models. They are coming up with a counterbalancer shaft to minimize that. The BMW Boxer twins used to have that rocking motion. Running through some specifications, it's got a ride-by-wire throttle, it's got cruise control, not of much use in India. ABS, traction control, it's got 3 engine modes, switchable, quite simple but a little oddly placed switches, but nothing very complicated. The electronics package is from Aprilia. Piaggio Group share the electronics among their motorcycles, and Aprilia is known to have one of the best electronic packages. Although I did not bother to test any of that because this motorcycle is not about that. It's got a USB port, it's got a Moto Guzzi app that can be synchronized with the motorcycle to get some data. The front is a 19, the rear is a 17. The stock motorcycle, at least when this particular model came out last year, 2020, it had spoke wheels, tube type tires. The user of this motorcycle has got the rims from the current model and upgraded, so the spokes kind of stick out on the side, so it's now a tubeless setup. Seat height is around 830 mm, reasonably okay. I am 5'9" and I was able to kind of flat foot, did not feel unstable at any place. Suspension travel is on paper 6.7 inch both front and rear. It feels a bit firm. On bad roads it does give a bit of feedback, but doesn't unsettle the motorcycle. It feels adequate. The rear, I carried a pillion for a short while. Pillion felt comfortable. It's tall. A tall pillion on the rear seat could not get anywhere the feet close to the ground. So it's got big pillion foot pegs. In fact, looking at it from here, I think the pillion pegs are larger than the rider pegs. So pillion comfort is fantastic. With the box at the back, I'm sure pillion will feel quite comfortable and stable on any kind of roads. And you know what? This has got a dry clutch. I've never ridden a motorcycle with a dry clutch. This is the first, and I could tell the difference. That's okay. So it's just a specification. It's got a dry clutch. Let's look under the seat to see if there is some Italian art underneath also. Oh yes, there is. The plastic tank with its shroud, the RR unit here, it's got the battery. Look at this, look at these little places to keep the Allen key, toolkit, the ECU, everything neatly arranged. Good job. The ride experience when it comes to the engine, there are a bit of vibes. Being that 90 degree, I could feel the buzz everywhere, on the pegs, on the seat, on the bar. Not to an intrusive extent, there is a buzz. However, between 3000 and 4000 RPM, it's like the engine switched to electric. There are no vibes. It runs so smooth, and the speeds that between 80 and 100 kilometers per hour. Beyond 5000, yes, it gets a bit buzzy. The pegs get buzzy, the bar gets buzzy. I did not sustain higher speeds for a long time, so I don't know if that will really cause fatigue or irritation during the ride, but it doesn't matter. The joy it gave me when riding between 3000 and 4000 RPM probably will supersede any other pain this motorcycle can throw at me. This is not readily available in any of the showrooms. It can be ordered, and the Aprilia, Vespa, whoever the dealer is, will be able to get one. I am told a few motorcycles have come into India, this particular model. Today probably it will cost around 19 lakhs, maybe even 20. So it's a CBU, duties are high. That puts it bang in the middle of some big heavyweights. The Tiger 900, the Africa Twin is not too far away in price. I mean, that's some dangerous territory. BMW 850 GS. Those are all motorcycles in terms of pricing. So when it comes to price, the technology, the performance, there is no way this is going to compete or even trying to compete with any of those brands, because it simply cannot. It is not about that. This motorcycle is not about a spec sheet. This motorcycle is not about the price. It's not about the maintenance. Then you might ask, what is a motorcycle about? That's something, that's a speciality of this motorcycle. It's all about art. I mentioned at the beginning of this video about a painting. So some can never see what is in a painting, and that's okay. Some can be lost for hours together in a painting. Please remove your brain and keep it aside. Use your heart to check, buy and ride this motorcycle. If we use monetary terms, in terms of maintenance, in terms of cost, in terms of performance, nah, this is not for for that person. Who is this motorcycle for? This is for someone who has some extra money, goes without saying. This is for someone who prefers character over speed, for someone who prefers styling over spec sheet numbers, and someone, if they have money, would rather buy a painting than a gadget. And perhaps also for someone who likes to ride alone with a smile on their face. That's the type of person who will enjoy this motorcycle. This is a motorcycle that perhaps gives meaning to the phrase, the journey is the destination. This is the type of motorcycle, when the rider parks it and walks to wherever they are going to, will not look at it just once, will turn and look back at it 3 or 4 times. That's the type of motorcycle. And last but not the least, this is like an analog watch, a Rolex. Any watch gives the same time, but it's the way it tells you the time. I just love this motorcycle. See you next time.